player of the match in the previous game. Charlie Dean keeps her spot.
Yeah, decent start at Bristol for Tammy Beaumont. Looked in very good order. Had a little misjudgment after crashing 3-4s at Worcester. Here's what I mean.
It's not a nice feeling, is it? You think you've got it covered and then it just nips back in.
That sounds a good shout from Leah Tahuhu. That was hidden behind pad. She bowls wicket to wicket.
10 seconds.
Now, conversations. Yeah, they're going to have a look. Tahuhu's usually always in the game.
TV umpire to director, we have a player review for LBW. On-field decision is not out. It's a fair delivery. Can I have front-on spin vision, please? Okay.
Ultra edge, thank you.
We'll go through to ultra edge, please. Clearly pad first and onto ball tracking. Pitching outside, impact in line, wickets hitting. Go back to Sue on field, please. Sue, can you change your original decision to out? You're on screen now, please.
An excellent review. Leah Tahuhu does bowl that wicket to wicket line. She's always in the game, and just that little bit of nip back has caused the demise of Tammy Beaumont.
I just wonder if her dismissal from the previous game was on her mind. Tammy Beaumont, just that front foot getting over onto the offside. Oh, she's gone for one. England 6 for 1.
WWE Tamale is a league.
Hello everyone, I'm Heston Blumenthal and they call me a magician in the kitchen. I was stoked when Black and White, the scotch that is made for sharing, invited me to partner with them. Stay tuned as Black and White and I bring to you the magic of sharing.
सोचा क्यों ना पकोड़े बनाए जाए। पकोड़े की तारीफ सुनते ही कहेगी मेरे हस्बैंड ने बनाए हैं, पर बने हैं राजधानी बेसन से। राजधानी बेसन, स्वाद दिखता है।
Tahuhu. Elegantly off the mark. Lovely push through the covers. At at the risk of repeating myself, that quick outfield, just a gentle push, it's taken it all the way to the boundary for 4.
Yeah, lovely shot to get off the mark for Heather Knight, over pitching from Tahuhu, and Knight just leans into it, doesn't try and overhit it. Always a nice sight when you manage to thread it through early on in your innings.
That's where she's asking the questions, Leah Tahuhu. Excellent over. Wicket of Tammy Beaumont, and New Zealand have England 10 for 1.
Good evening.
I can't believe that they've managed to hold glass. Oh my god. Hashtag hands-free selfie. Go on, unfold your world.
All the major sporting venues within half a mile of each other. Football, cricket and rugby.
Wait! Still wait!
I just talked about something you picked up on as well. Point of release, where she releases it from. We can't quite see it in relation to the stumps in that particular angle, but there. It's something you picked up on in Worcester about the release point of Leah Tahuhu, Lydia, and why she's always searching and asking those questions.
Yeah, you can just see that the angle of the arm really at release, just that bit lower. That can sometimes mean that it's a bit skiddier as well. I also think the combination of, as much as you try and clear any previous ways of getting out in a series, I just wonder how much Tammy Beaumont was thinking about the way that she got out in the first game, leaving the ball, just overcompensating perhaps with that front pad. She's trying to cover herself.
Traditional angle of a right arm over bowler who usually has quite a high front arm is probably a good 2 feet to the left hand side, so it's got to straighten a little bit if you're going to get the LBW decision, whereas she bowls right over the top of a 4th stump. Talked about having previous dismissals in the back of your mind with Tammy Beaumont. It might be a similar situation for Lauren Winfield, who nicked off a lot in the series against India, that away swing that Sophie Devine is showing us. Very tidy. Maiden over from New Zealand captain, 10 for 1.
Mitali Raj, leading run scorer in one-day internationals. Her record is something quite phenomenal.
It's time to celebrate the Super Women in Blue. Commonwealth Bank Women's second ODI match versus India. Friday, 24th September, 10:40 a.m. Live on Sony Sports Network.
Anywhere, Daggers. It wasn't exactly packed in the car park.
You must have had a favourite end though from on this ground. Where did you bowl most your overs from?
It's good running from Heather Knight. I bowled at this end, the end that Leah Tahuhu took a while for the bowler to join in. It took a while for Sue Redfern to give the decision.
Reviewing, yeah.
And in so doing, Lauren Winfield is also going to review.
TV umpire to director, we have a player review for LBW. On-field decision is out. It's a fair delivery. Can I have spin vision? Thank you. Clearly no bat involved. We'll go straight through to ball tracking, please.
This just flicks, she's out.
Yeah.
Pitching in line, impacting line, wickets, umpire's call. Thank you. Go back on field to Sue. Sue, you're on camera. Stay with the original decision of out.
So 2 LBW decisions for Leah Tahuhu. Just flicking that leg stump, and umpire's call remains the original decision is upheld. But England will retain their review. I don't know about you, Lydia, it just looked a little bit, it didn't seem as close as the first, but no matter, New Zealand will be delighted. Lauren Winfield Hill goes for 4. England struggling, 11 for 2.
These legends have taken cricket to
an early entrance for England's wicketkeeper Amy Jones, promoted up the order due to the absence of Nat Siver.
Wide ball.
And she comes in, Lydia, with England unable to cope with the straight lines of Leah Tahuhu.
And this is where they've been much improved, I think, New Zealand, throughout the series from the start of the first T20 game. I think their lines have been much more disciplined. Leah Tahuhu's been very, very good. You didn't see her feature in the T20s, but making an impact in this ODI series.
Just a little bit of hand took the sting out of it. With Kasparek cover point.
It's actually an area in England's batting lineup where they have been exposed slightly before. I remember when they played against Australia and Elise Perry was nailing them. LBW, just that front foot fever for Lauren Winfield Hill. And Tammy Beaumont, she tried to overcorrect it when she's realised she's come down the wrong line and ended up playing across her front pad.
See, this is the other thing. I think Lauren Winfield Hill's a little unfortunate there. It didn't look quite right to us. However, when you bowl so consistently and when your release point is as such, it sort of lends itself to the umpire thinking, well, it doesn't have to move much for a decision to be given. Nat Siver rested today. Catherine Brunt to her left-hand side on screen, brought back into the side. Again, in the business area. Leah Tahuhu. Wicket and 4 runs coming from it, 14 for 2 after 5.
तुम्हारा जूनियर है पर घर को देखो कैसे दुल्हन जैसे सजा के रखा है।
जूनियर सीनियर नहीं डियर, ये एस पार्क इमल्शन वो बजट वाले पेंट का कमाल है। चलो चलो
नया एस पार्क इमल्शन बजट में लगे।
डायरेक्ट प्लान म्यूचुअल फंड स्कीम्स में।
And there you go. For those who might not know, it's got to be some part of the foot has got to be behind that line. If it's on the line, it belongs to the umpire.
Leah Tahuhu didn't seem very happy about that, did she, bowling another delivery? I think she virtually got back into her fielding position.
Signalled a free hit. Clothed up in the air, but it'll fall safely into the hands of Susie Bates, but not before England pick up a single. So now the 5th over has been completed, 16 for 2.
Alexander the Great!
I'm going to stay champion for a long time.
Ryan or
म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट किया
या मैंने आज म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसा डाला और कल मार्केट नीचे आ गया तो मैं उतना रिस्क नहीं लेना चाहता।
देख, म्यूचुअल फंड्स में रिस्क तो है, इसलिए हर म्यूचुअल फंड का रिस्क समझकर ही इन्वेस्ट किया कर और उतने ही पैसे इन्वेस्ट कर जो लंबे समय तक रख सके।
भाई बात तो तेरी सही है।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
Now bowling and fielding. Something mentioned by Sophie Devine at the toss. It's just been those lapses in their batting that's caused them to be defeated in both games so far.
Yeah, and similar with England as well. Embiid bowled out whenever they've batted first in ODIs this summer. I think that will be something that they'll be very mindful of. Especially obviously leading into the One-Day World Cup, which is in New Zealand. So similar conditions for bowlers as they are here in England. And they've obviously got the Ashes before that as well. So a lot of cricket for them coming up.
Lovely from Jones. Didn't try to overhit it. Managed to squeeze it through 4 fielders in the offside ring. Bring her first boundary of the afternoon.
Yeah, this wicket just already showing any errors in length are going to be quickly punished. Slightly full, slightly short. The majority have been over pitching so far for New Zealand. Nice from Amy Jones.
The other one, the inner. Yeah, the middle order has been found a little wanting for England in this series. Jones, Dunkley and Siver. All three failing to register a decent score in the first 2 one-day internationals. Here's your opportunity, Amy Jones. Six overs gone, 24-2.
Just having a look at Amy Jones's dismissals so far this series, trying to pull something that perhaps wasn't there and then just toppling over Simple catch to Brooke Halliday. I think one thing they'll be keeping their eye on England will be the score overnight, with Australia beating India pretty convincingly.
Goodness, they're a good side.
And I think that's something that teams will just keep an eye on, because I know England are world champions in this format of the game, but Australia, you look at their top order: Haynes 93 not out, Healy 77.
Edged and gone, third wicket for Tahuhu. Beauty, just feeling for it outside of the off stump. Heather Knight nicked off yet again. Katie Martin, the grateful recipient behind the stumps, and this is trouble for England.
Excellent from Leah Tahuhu again, already 3 wickets to her name, this time just tempting the England.
On Sony and Big Bash on Sony. Australian Open on Sony. On Sony. Only on Sony Sports Network. On Sony Sports Network.
A little bit. Yeah, middle. Okay, right arm, over the wicket, 5.
16. ODI. A career that's in its infancy. Still a very good record so far, but now completely different situation for Sophia Dunkley. 3 down, Tahuhu on fire, tail up, swinging ball, 2 slips in the gully in place.
Let's have another look at the wicket that's just fallen. Heather Knight, England captain, just probing at the ball. Maybe wasn't a length that was quite there to be driven, and that's just tickled the outside edge. A nice simple catch for Katie Martin.
It's a bit of a nothing type of shot. You just look at this foot outside of off stump, only moving away fractionally. There's nothing, there's no demons. Just pushing it a little wide one. And now for these two at the crease. We'll test their resolve a little bit, knowing that they've not got any runs to their name this series.
Yeah, no way, it's not an ideal situation at all in the context of the game, but for England's long-term plan, for Sophia Dunkley to be in this type of situation will be a real test for her. We've seen her come in at the back end and win games. Now, can she do it when there's 40 odd overs left to go? Try and get them up to some sort of defendable total. And Amy Jones as well, great opportunity for her to get herself in and try and go big. And then Danni Wyatt, another person in this England team trying to cement her place in the side.
Well, she gets off the mark with a single. 7 overs gone, plenty going on, and England 21 for 3.
I'll probably just start no man's game next to Rosie. Start on the phone. Are you on the jet?
Let's be ready, please.
centre. Thank you. Right arm over.
Ooh, play and a miss. Generous movement away from the bat for Sophie Devine. Playing her role, keeping it tight at one end. Tahuhu lethal at the other. Sophia Dunkley came in at a very tough time down in Taunton. Her first innings in one-day international cricket. England were 92 for 4 on that occasion, and she steered the ship an unbeaten 73. But today, in early, trying to set a tally, and the top orders misfired badly.
Yeah, slightly tougher conditions today, though, up against Sophie Devine and Leah Tahuhu. And there's the England dugout. Catherine Brunt, she's padded up. Danni Wyatt next in. She looks like she needs some sunglasses.
So swung big the other way. Maybe the appeal was in order to try and get out of a wide being called.
She needs to get some sunnies on, does Wyatt?
So she was down at number 7 upon her recall on Sunday, an unbeaten 63, which proved vital in the context of that low-scoring game. Up at 6 today. Well struck for none.
What they've done really well, the New Zealand bowlers, is they've bowled straight. They've set straight fields. Another example of this, the in-swinger from Sophie Devine.
Quick single. Just a bit of a bobble there from Tahuhu. Had she collected it clean, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, that looked a bit of a panic run. Hit a good shot. I think had, like you say, Leah Tahuhu, who picked that up cleanly, that could have been very close.
Another tidy over from the captain, Sophie Devine. 8 gone, England in strife at 23 for 3.
These legends have taken cricket to
दुनिया दिखाए जो लाइक हो जाए Facebook Watch.
Different cultures all over the world fight for something known as Mortal Kombat.
दुनिया दिखाए जो लाइक हो जाए Facebook Watch.
So Leah Tahuhu, who missed the T20s in order to be in perfect condition for the one-day internationals with an eye to the World Cup in March next year at home, the first time New Zealand have hosted that tournament for a couple of decades. She definitely brings that extra pace, slingy action, always has the stumps in play.
Yeah, she's been New Zealand's standout bowler throughout this one-day series. And what's really shone through is, like you said, Adam, is she's bowled straight, she bowled at good pace, good line to left. She's asked lots of questions. It's good to see her back at her best.
Really well placed. Big boundaries here at Leicester, but it matters not when you time it as well as Sophia Dunkley does. Her first 4, 27 for 3.
This is great from Dunkley. She's seen the delivery slightly wide. She's got her hand through that. That's what she does so naturally. She plays with so much freedom. She's got to keep playing her natural game, which is to be aggressive, but just be watchful at that.
Good response, squaring her up.
That's when Tahuhu's dangerous, is when she bowls that sort of middle and leg line delivery, as we see here, where you think potentially that's going on the leg side, but then it just shapes away, and as you can see, she's just managed to get some bat on that. But that's when she's at her most threatening, and she was going up there, had that and missed.
Now the change up, bowling with real confidence here, Tahuhu. Couple of changes to the New Zealand seam group today. Jessica out with what looked to be a bit of a knee niggle when we were watching them warming up before the toss was held, and Hannah Rowe, who's been rested. The experience of Hayley Jensen into the team, and debutante Molly Penfold, who's raw and quick. She'll be on soon. Presumably from Tahuhu's end, we heard Charles Dagnall explaining the end psychology here at Leicester, a ground he knows so well. Bowser! Oh, that is a beauty from Tahuhu. Through the gate, that's done plenty. England are reeling at 27 for 4. Dunkley castled for 6.
This is a peach of a delivery from Leah Tahuhu. We just talked about that away swing she gets. Dunkley, and that one looks like it's just stayed on its same line. She's delighted. Huge wicket for New Zealand. Dunkley goes for 6, and England are 27 for 4.
The Ashes well and truly on Sony and Big Bash League
Champions
on
the Sydney
Sony.
Sixers.
Australian Open on Sony. On Sony. Only on Sony Sports Network. On Sony Sports Network. On Sony Sports Network.
It may not be huge movement, but when playing for it, you can see that the shot. There might be something different in the replay. Basically, walking in, the player in form, player of the match in her 200th international on Sunday, an unbeaten 63, but a very different job here, batting inside the power play. Dunkley playing down the wrong line, expecting the ball just to sling away or past the off stump. It hits the seam. Completely at sea, gloves a long way from her pad.
Yeah, this is such a good delivery. She's getting ready to hit that through the line, she thinks, and it's just cut back. It's a hell of a delivery from Leah Tahuhu.
Yeah, well played. Amy Jones into double figures with her second boundary. They've both been through that gap, that cover point. A senior player in this team now, Amy Jones. She's been on a rough trot of late. Her last 11 one-day internationals, netting just 138 runs at 15.3. So out of sorts, but does enjoy playing at Leicester. Made 91 against the West Indies here and 78 against New Zealand in 2018. Oh, more movement at both ends.
Yeah, this is tough for England. They're just going to have to ride this though now. Just try and Just nullify the two opening bowlers who've bowled so well. There's quite a bit of seam movement out there. Good seam movement away there from Divine.
And follows it with the in-swinger.
Good girls, come on.
As that Hawkeye graphic showed from the Dunkley dismissal ball, a delivery that would have kissed the edge of the off stump through the gate, collecting middle and leg. I mean, that is dangerous bowling. Fabulous stuff. Full. Can't quite get it away this time, Jones. But has to step up. Mentioned before, senior player now, Lottie. Rough trot. Sometimes to get out of it, you need to be in a really difficult situation.
We just have to bat time here. They don't need to look at the scoreboard, just bat. Dunkley's having a look at her dismissal.
Excellent finish to the power play from Divine, who's been frugal with Tahuhu effective. 32 for 4 the score. So started the power play well, but that didn't last, with Beaumont in the front pad blown off. The decision going the way of New Zealand, as did that. Umpire's call, just clipping leg stump. Nice thick edge through the gloves of Martin. Tahuhu's third. What a way to finish, through the gate. Sophia Dunkley's face says it all. So with 4 for 19 to her name, Tahuhu will continue.
Third full. Get one every 4 years. 2013, 2017, 2021.
Superb bowling. Bringing White forward. Her first delivery. Would have felt she had to play based on what she's seen coming back in off the seam.
Yeah, once you see that previous delivery that got Dunkley out, and there's a significant movement there, beating the outside edge, but yeah, you'll be really worried about that ball that's going to come back into you now. So you've got to play. She'll feel she needs to play at most deliveries.
Bit of interest from the wicketkeeper Martin, but not from the bowler Tahuhu. No real consideration of a review from the captain Divine. Couple of leg byes. Tahuhu's now taken 3 4-wicket bags in one-day international cricket in 4-year increments. One in 2013, one in 2017 and one today. And ample time to add to that as well. Again, playing and missing. Bit of scrambled seam that time. Two slips waiting for that catch.
This is a real test of the England batters, isn't it? Especially someone like Wyatt, who naturally wants to get on with it. She wants to take it to the bowlers. But this is not the time to do that. This is about just really playing the situation, which is 34 for 4, and you can't afford to lose another wicket.
Good again to finish. Just 2 runs from the over. 11 gone. England 34 for 4.
Well, earlier on today, Laura told you that there would be a chance to win a signed shirt, and there is, and this is how you do it. You have to answer this question. It's up on the big screen now. Who took the most wickets in the second Royal ODI? Tweet your stand, row and seat with the hashtag ENGVNZ. Of course, you need to include the answer to the question and a selfie of you enjoying yourself here.
A sorry story for England so far after being sent in by Sophie Devine for the 3rd time in a row. Both openers gone in the first 4 overs and didn't get much better after that through the power play. Devine to continue as well, catching cover, and a short mid-wicket for Jones brought in, just 1 slip. New Zealand looking to turn the screws here, Lot.
Yeah, and England need to be up to that. It's just about being gritty now. It's about seeing these 2 off. They've probably got another 1 or 2 overs maybe from each end, and it's just trying to dig in here.
Yeah, nicely played. Jones has found the boundary through the offside on 3 occasions. This time a fraction squarer. She's up to 14. As you noted before, has to bat time, has to take responsibility for this recovery.
But she also needs to do this. When you get that bad delivery, you've got to put it away, and she did that in superb style there. That's her real area of strength through the offside. Really well played.
Some extra bounce there from Devine in response.
This is a tough situation for the England batters because they probably talk a lot about in their team meetings about taking the game on, about trying to get certain scores, certain strike rates. That all has to go out the window now.
Yeah, and so much of this series for both teams is about preparing for that World Cup next year. And Heather Knight said after the win on Sunday that they wanted to win games from tough situations in this series. They didn't want it to be all smooth sailing necessarily. Well, they've got what they wanted here. Of course, that preparation has been curtailed somewhat with the announcement yesterday that England won't be visiting Pakistan for 3 one-day internationals next month. So after this series, England won't have any one-day cricket until the Women's Ashes and then into the World Cup. So not ideal on that front. The statement was fairly clear that the decision was taken around the men's T20 prep in October. No real mention of the Women's World Cup prep in there.
No, there wasn't, and I think really important for this England team to have that preparation. I'm bitterly disappointed. I think it was going to be a historic tour to Pakistan. The England team have never played there before. And had those reasons have been security, I think everyone would have been okay, because clearly the players' safety has to be at the forefront of everyone's mind. But it seems like a lot of the decision was made around the men's team.
Penfold, first ball in international cricket. Good bounce too. Ooh, bit of indecision. But Jones called Wyatt through. Straight up to 68 mile an hour. Molly Penfold, 20 years of age, out of Auckland. Hasn't played much cricket at the level below, just 8 List A games, 3 T20s. Jacob Oram, assistant coach of the New Zealand team, says that she's raw, fast bowling talent. She's been involved in all the camps along the way. And now on the big stage in a one-day international, just age 20.
So no ball, ladies. No ball.
So overstepping second ball. She wouldn't have had the scrutiny of the television umpire watching the front line until today, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me. Easy decision there for David Milnes upstairs. Her back foot wasn't far away from overstepping as well. That's quite something. Bit of early nerves, perhaps.
Yeah, it looks like early nerves. That's a huge no ball. Also, they've got to be careful here, New Zealand. They just don't give the momentum back to England. They're very much on top.
Free hit. Into the gap at mid-wicket. Happy with the single. I think returning to your point about Pakistan, Mike Atherton put in his piece today that England had the chance to do the right thing and repay the debt of gratitude from last year with Pakistan coming out here in such tough times. Had Richard Isaacs grab a stat before to say that England men have played 32 games against Pakistan since the last time they'd been to the UAE. That goes back to 2015, so it's fairly stark. Full and straight, good response from Penfold.
This is a tricky bowler to face for the England batters right now because really she bowls at good pace and deliveries are short, they're full, and it's quite a difficult bowler at this point in the game to actually sort of face, especially when you're a bit behind the 8 ball as England are. 42 for 4. The young quicks running in.
Full toss, put away. It's a big boundary out to that pocket of the ground here at Grace Road. But Jones is seeing them well. Her 4th boundary.
But this has been my worry. Have New Zealand let the pressure off England here? Sofa's already gone for 8 runs. And that's put away very well by Amy Jones. She's not missed out on anything in that region. She goes on to 19.
If not for New Zealand's decision, whether England would have been in the situation to have pulled out to begin with. I suppose we'll never know. Really good to finish from Penfold. 13 overs gone in England's innings. They're 47 for 4.
Clever, smart, all of the above.
Elegant player, stands tall.
Pretty.
Hello everyone, I'm Heston Blumenthal and they call me a magician in the kitchen. I was stoked when Black and White, the scotch that is made for sharing, invited me to partner with them. Stay tuned as Black and White and I
A change at the pavilion end for New Zealand. The captain Devine replacing herself with Hayley Jensen, a bowler of vast experience. Her first appearance, though, in this series, missing the first 2 one-days, but 2 changes today with Jess Kerr out of the side with a niggle and Hannah Rowe rotated and rested. Jensen, with good memories from this ground back in 2018 when they defeated England. She took 2 for 26, knocked over the captain Knight. Nice start.
Yeah, I thought Hayley Jensen bowled well throughout the T20s. Certainly at the death she did. But she's a good bowler for this type of situation. to come in middle overs, bowl stump to stump. Decent pace.
Missed out there. Jones got a good look, short and wide. Lydia was touching on it before, but the power of having a good record at a ground, as Jones does here, to help bolster confidence at an important time for her. Obviously one of the first names on the team sheet, Amy Jones. She's got the best gloves in the world at the moment, but coming into the pointy end of a World Cup cycle with a tournament around the corner, 3 fewer one days to prepare for that. Now they're not going to Pakistan. It's a really important week for her in the short term.
Yeah, big few one days for a few of the England batters, I think, without that tour now to Pakistan. But this is what she does really well. She drives through the offside very well. Good transfer of weight. Probably one area is through that mid-wicket region where she got caught in the last ODI.
Gets off strike here. Just her 5th single. Yeah, I enjoyed that 3rd drive, the square drive. Played it right beneath her eyes. Raced out to the rope. As for Danni Wyatt, made an impression upon her return on Sunday. Was been out of the England first 11, if you like, in one-day cricket for the majority of this year. Great opportunity. Beaten here. Good one to finish from Jensen. End of the over. With drinks making their way out onto the field. 14 gone. England 48 for 4.
So Bradman, the greatest of all.
This game involves an element of financial risk and may be addictive. Please play responsibly and at your own risk. Win better than the rest with 100% bonus on first deposit. Play against other players and not the house. Best odds in the market. This means better winnings are sure. This game involves an element of financial risk and may be addictive. Please play responsibly at your own risk.
अरे गुप्ता जी, गोल्ड लोन
सब खोटा खोटा लागे, दिल को छोटा छोटा लागे, रहना कदम
सर वो गोल्ड लोन वहाँ बैठो।
सांसें कदमों को कांपे।
और कितना टाइम लगेगा?
लेने आए हो, देने नहीं, वेट करना पड़ेगा।
गोल्ड हमारा, इंटरेस्ट हम भरे, यहाँ तक चलकर भी हम आए और छोटा भी हम महसूस करें।
कोई जरूरत नहीं, रूपीक से हम आएंगे ना आपके घर गोल्ड लोन देने, वो भी कम से कम इंटरेस्ट रेट पर। रूपीक का 2 स्टेप गोल्ड लोन्स, घर बैठे बैठे हो गया यार।
दुनिया दिखाए जो लाइक हो जाए। Facebook Watch.
Hello everyone, I'm Heston Blumenthal and they call me a magician in the kitchen. I was stoked when Black and White, the scotch that is made for sharing, invited me to partner with them. Stay tuned as Black and White and I bring to you the magic of sharing.
A green looking surface, albeit a slow one here at Grace Road. And the card makes pretty miserable reading if you're an England fan. Not so much if you're a fan of Leah Tahuhu, who has all 4 of the wickets to fall. Ebony Rain for Brent. It's been a good start for the White Ferns.
Yeah, excellent from Tahuhu. The surface is offering a little bit of bounce. Often we see Tahuhu bowl a little bit short, actually, and I think one thing she's done today has been full and really probing. That first one, bang on the money. This one was just clipping, so I could understand that Winfield Hill might have felt a little bit of aggrieved. But it's the length for me, and then a little bit of movement off the surface, which really aids her. So good to see, and I think that was the perler, really. Dunkley coming across the ball, and she's really exposed it. So brilliant for her. I've always thought she's a player who had more in the tank. So 4 for 19 is the sort of stats you want to see from a bowler of her quality.
Yep, given the new ball for the first time in the series, and has made very good use of it. She has another tire up.
Wicket for the 20-year-old. But for England, just a hint of movement back in, stuck on the crease and playing across the line. That's really poor technique. And she's been exposed by the youngster. Good speed, 70 miles an hour, and delight. Well, Amy Jones, she's got to go for 21. England, 48 for 5.
These legends have taken cricket to new
Ultra Sheen paint that steals your spotlight. Royale Glitz with Ultra Sheen. Luxury with Teflon.
देखो मुझे न बताना इसे कैसे है खाना बस भूख की फिकर नो अदर बहाना ये मेरा चीज है ब्रेड में लगाऊं या रोटी में खाऊं मेल्ट करूं ग्रेट करूं ऐसे ही दबाऊं तेरी फू बातें रख तेरे पास ये मेरा चीज है
Born in the 2000s, the youngest or first English player to be born in that region. So the young guns are going at it.
Good delivery, good take from Katie Martin as well. There's a lot of nonsense talked about millennials that they only sit on their computers and eat avocados. These two are playing international cricket for their countries.
Well, while you're talking about what you're talking about, I wanted to have a look at this action. I think Penfold's got a very strong action and plenty more in the tank.
Ready, guys? Yep.
I think I might ask the guys to go again for that side on first of all. Look at her approach. Yeah, I think a good sign often is just the athletic run up. Very contained, balanced. Also, as she approaches, doesn't lose weight by dragging down. But I think there's more in that front foot. If she gets strong, she can get up and over and get a bit more power through. So exciting signs for a young bowler with a big smile.
White ball.
And then you keep coming up with plenty in the tank.
Just a little wide there for Penfold, as to be expected. He hasn't played a huge amount of sort of first class and domestic cricket. Will be raw.
Yeah, interesting looking at that side-on action. You're absolutely right. And that as she hits the crease, that left leg just buckles a little bit. You get the side-on view of the best and the quickest bowlers in the world. So looks good up to this point. Nice strong gather. Just as that left foot hits the ground, bent front knee, you manage to get that straight and you'll get another yard or so of pace. There's plenty there to be going on with in the first place.
It's something I'm
I have to pick up. He talks about the millennials being into avocados and cell phones.
Well, I said that's the people, they get a lot of stick, millennials, as being only interested in cell phones and avocados, and so you've got two of them playing for their countries out here at the moment. So I was backing them up.
I've got a question for you.
Another good over, just that wide, spoiling what would have been a wicket maiden. 49 for 5.
Okay, so the millennials are into avocados and cell phones. What were your generation pinned for? Was it nightclubs? Was it hairstyles? Would have been some sort of, I don't know.
I'm trying to think what I would have spent most of my time doing.
Mullet haircuts.
I had a soft curly perm a la Michael Jackson back in 1985. And spent most of my time watching MTV. And that's why I've lost my hair now. Mess around straightening your hair, it's a bad thing. Bad thing, kids.
If you want to go to the School of Life Advice, call Mark Butcher.
Well, you could do a lot worse.
Batting on the cards, Wyatt and Dean left. Definitely batting in the tank, but you'd feel that the damage is done with the openers gone, the captain, Jones and Dunkley.
Danni Wyatt showing a full face. She had to rescue England in similar, though not quite so dire circumstances at Worcester. 85 for 5 was the score when she came in at number 7. She's been elevated up the order to number 6 this time, but has the opportunity to get herself in again before playing the big shots later on, and looks as though temperamentally she's up for that challenge.
The good news about Danni Wyatt, this won't phase her. She won't be overthinking and over-engineering it, and she'll look to play her shots. I think that's what we saw in the 50 from her last time, and there's a real chance for her to really cement herself. That average is the number that you think of someone of her quality, 79 matches in this format.
Edged and just past the outstretched hand of slip. A little bit of luck for Wyatt, but that brings up England's 50. Those numbers with Danni Wyatt, she spent quite a lot of time trying to sort of pinch hit, I suppose, at the top of the order